when you do have time, I'm sending the group through there to mingle with the sound of the water and to dip their legs here. But when you are reaching here, please don't swim there. There's no, it's not a safe place. And if we're talking about a safe place, that is not a safe place too. This is the Hippodrome, horse race. Let's say 12,000 people used to sit there watching the view of the sea and see the horse race. Goes all the way to here. The best seats were here. Why the best seats were here? Mainly because when they are doing the U-turn, some of them are falling. Blood, 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 blood. And if we're talking about blood, let's talk about another event that happened here. From time to time, actually at the 2nd century, they built another horse race, a hippodrome, at let's say 1 kilometer from here, even less, because this is the best real estate. Then they use it as a market, and they used to close it here and to turn it into a gladiator and animal fights. And a lot of the Christians and the Jews that were ran against the Romans find their death here. Dum. You can understand why the Christians at the 4th century, the Byzantines, didn't use it as hippodrome, kind of a Colosseum, because it's so many of their people died here. The most important place was there, and that's where Caesar used to stay. King Herod, Pontius Pilate, you know, all the big one, the celebs, the government of the Roman government. And beneath it, and we will see it soon, you will see some holes, or like windows. That's where the horsemen used to bring their idols there to give them a little bit of luck. The one who didn't enjoy that luck is Agrippas, the first one. It was poison, as we believed, right there, and 3 days later he died. The Bible, the book of Acts, actually mentioned that the worms ate his body immediately. And that was there too. So many stories about Christianity. Another place that we don't know where actually happened, but as I believe it was on the upper part, because in the upper part you can find until today beautiful Roman mansions, and that is the house. That's where I believe the house of Cornelius was. We're going back to the book of Acts, and we know that Cornelius was a Roman government. He controlled 100 soldiers, but he was like so many of the Romans at that time. He believed in the Jewish God. He gave a lot of donation to the poor, and he was a nice man. But he wasn't a Jew. What he actually saw or felt is that he met an angel who told him, don't worry, God actually will answer your prayers. And he told him, ask for let me see, maybe you can see it, called St. Peter. That was in Jaffa. It's a little bit difficult to see. It's only 40 kilometers from here. Behind those skyscrapers, there's the city of Tel Aviv, and Jaffa is part of it. And he sent 2 servants who were believing in the Jewish God as well, and 1 Roman soldier to take St. Peter. Let's say goodbye to the palace of King Herod and Pontius Pilate. And let's move to the Hippodrome. I will talk about St. Peter later on. I reached already 45 minutes, and it's only the beginning. We're entering to the Hippodrome, but on the way you will see something very beautiful. Hi. Look at that. Oh, shade. What's that? What's that? Lavatory, toilets. At that time, the people who enjoyed the Hippodrome had to know to go to the toilet. A human being. But in that time, women and men used to sit together. They had a long rest and no one saw their organ. The toilet seat itself didn't survive, but you can see that it was deeper than that. And look at that tunnel. You know what's happened to the men when they're taking the number one? The last drop. Then the water. And through here, like a small aqueduct, and takes everything out beneath the seats to the sea. In about 2 days from now, as I believe, because it's the Feast of Sukkot, which is 8 days of vacation, that place will be a real hippodrome, horse races. And you will hear King Herod talking whatever, and the rest. I've been there once in my lifetime, and I swear to myself not to do that again. Too many people, which I miss now. Those are original seats. Original seats. What didn't actually left are the colors that used to be there, and they used to paint it a lot because of the sea. You don't see me now, but I'm sweating as hell. It's 30 degrees, around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and so humid. I'm sweating, but I'm happy. Chariot race, the Meta Prima. Here they used to make the detour, the U-turn, and a lot of them fell and maybe died or hurt in the arena. Now, why the arena is full with sand? Because if I will fall and I will hurt myself and you will see my blood, then the best way to clean it is by that. And here it is, the next race can begin now. You already know that this is not an original painting, but we found something like that here, but it's been destroyed because of the sun, because of the humidity as well, and the sea, but it looks like a marble. Remember, he had no marble. Then he painted on wet plaster with colors, and that's called fresco, and it looks like a marble thing. Let's go and find a shade. Pontius, are you there? Pilate, Agrippas, King Herod. Oh no, they're not here. Let's find herself a place to sit, but before that, if you're talking about animals, because you turn it into Colosseum, gladiator, and animal fights, then you can see the tunnels that the animals actually went through. The gate wasn't so, the wall wasn't so high, because most of the time it was used as a horse race. Then they used to put a net on top of it to avoid the animals to jump to the audience. And that, where they used to put the idols. But who is above them? Pontius Pilate, King Herod, Agrippas, pastors. Let's continue with the story of St. Peter. That Cornelius asked St. Peter to come to here. I don't know what about you, but he was at the house of Simon the Tanner, waiting for his meal when he had the vision of the sack full with non-kosher animals, and the angel told him to butcher them and to eat. With Peter, it's always 3 times. Then he opened the door, and he knew immediately that he's gone. I mean, just like Jesus, they will crucify him too. But they didn't. The servants and the soldier told him, Cornelius wants to meet you. He entered to his house in Caesarea, not before he served the 3 at Simon the Tanner house, and then he came to here, and Cornelius told him the same story. And before that, I forgot to mention that Cornelius told the same story for the servants. Then in that case, 3 times. And later on, St. Peter will tell it to the Jews that were so disappointed that he actually turned a non-Jew into the new Judaism that now we call it Christianity. He entered to his house and said, you know that Jews cannot mingle with non-Jewish. Non-Jewish, it's usually the word for it is Gentiles. Then you cannot eat in their house. It's not a kosher house. It's not so easy to talk with. But Cornelius actually told him the story about the angel who came here when he was praying here at 3 o'clock, and then so on and so on and so on. And St. Peter, but he said, I felt something too, because remember the sack full of animals tells me that maybe not only Jews can be part of that religion. And then he felt the Holy Spirit. And the idea was, the scene was almost like the Pentecost scene. In the Pentecost, God told the Jews to spread this Christianity or this Judaism to the Jews. And this is where the first non-Jew was converted like others. He was baptized by by St. Peter here. St. Peter stayed in his place for a few days. But for us, Caesarea is important because from right now you can convert without any problem non-Jews, Gentiles, into the new Judaism, which we know it as Christianity today. Amazing, isn't it? What I'm doing now is the full tour, which means that I will have to go all the way back to the car later on. Usually I'm actually saying goodbye here, going back to take the car, and moving the car to the other gate. But I felt the Spirit, and I must take you through the whole tour. That is one good reason to stay with me, because I'm sweating as hell. What's that building is doing here? I mean, if we are talking about hippodrome or the horse race or the amphitheater, then why there's a building here? Remember when the Romans became Christians, they decided not to use it anymore. Then in that case, that was part of the market and part of the villas. Here you can see some other fresco that we found, and sadly it's not here anymore, of animals. You can see animals fight. Tiger. Ta-da-da. Am I the only one? Yes. Except of that woman that is making her teas about the amphitheater. I want to read it, but it will be ready. She will be ready in about a few years from now. Welcome to a Roman villa. A palace, we call it. This is from the 6th century AD. Oh, the smell of it. They're talking about the amphitheater. You can see part of it. Oh, I don't know if you could see the waves. The sea is very angry now. Although this is a cool day. Not cold, just cool. Look at the beautiful sky. At the beginning we thought that this is a church, but then we realized that it's not. Before we will climb up to the upper part. Oh, look at that. A fisherman boat. Someone at the front saying, "I'm the king of the world!" Beautiful, isn't it? The left part of that area, like that, that's how we found it. You can see there's so many layers. Archaeological section, different times. That's from the 4th century, and this is from the 3rd and 4th before BC, and that is from the 6th century, and on and on and on and on. Looks like that. There's so many pottery here, and you can find it by yourself. Here it is. They left it like that because they wanted you to understand what's happened here. Oops. That hut that you see here, it's called Sukkot. It's 2 days before Sukkot holiday. Sukkot was mentioned, by the way, at the New Testament as well, and it reminds the Jews that there were 40 years in the desert. They used to sit in huts. Then Jews, until today, built something like Sukkot next to their house and live there, eat there, and even sleep there for 8 days. And this year there will be no rain. That's how Sukkot looks like. Let me take a picture of it. Here it is. Then the visitors can bring some food, sit here and enjoy the environment of the holiday. We're going to climb from there to there, but before that I want to show you the circus. Remember the horse race? It's supposed to begin from somewhere, and this is the circus. Sounds familiar to you? Here it is. A family of 5 children is entering now. I can tell you that they are religious Jew. You will see the keeper. So nasty they are, because 5 children. Then that's where the race actually began. I know that I will reach my house almost dead. Then we saw where it actually begins, and you can see the Hippodrome, horse race, and we are climbing up. Yeah, I can see the keeper on their head. I call it light religious Jew. Father's got no keeper. tell it to the mother. And we are entering up two places of Roman villas.